Okay, so let's review the setup going into this 8:30 CPI report. Basically, we've got S&P 500 down about 18 points. We've got NASDAQ down about 125 points. And importantly, we're going in a situation where ahead of the report, dollar is selling off. So DXY is right at 103.99 right now. As you know from watching multiple of our videos that DXY and gold have a negative correlation. So as you can see, gold has been going up higher for the last few hours going into that CPI report, which is actually very bad for gold. So because it's got a higher probability, every time gold runs into a CPI report, it gets hit hard. So expecting a big momentum to the downside after 8:30 for gold. Now, the initial reaction, clearly it could jump slightly, but then it's going to sell the fuck off. Now, DXY is likely to do something like a wild move back to this level. So, I mean, DXY, you don't trade it, right? But you use DXY to place correlation top trades. Clearly, if DXY goes higher, then S&P 500 would drop. So still some room to drop, and especially if they're going to punch it higher in the next 30 minutes. I'm recording like 30 minutes before the report. If they punch it higher, into the actual report, then expect a definite follow through on another leg lower here on S&P, on NASDAQ, on RTY. So very interesting is that as dollars selling off, I mean, gold is just kind of hovering here around 2040, 2043 area. Normally you'd see on a move like this in DXY that gold would actually start moving. So the fact that this move in gold is kind of going actually in the same direction right now tells us that people are ready to sell some gold today. So watch that, because if the inflation report is going to come slightly higher than expected, then dollar is going to rocket higher. And right now they are thinking, okay, well, the inflation report is going to be totally fine. The inflation report cannot be totally fine unless it's another complete lie like the GDP or something like that. So if there's any truth in this inflation report, if it's not like 100% fake, you will see an increase in inflation on a relative basis as far as compared to last month, in last few months. We're going to see a spike in inflation simply because oil prices has recovered for the time frame that inflation number is going to be reported, and the Hamas war in Israel, the consequences of that should be reflected in today's CPI report. And so there's in no shape or form, when shipping costs and charges and insurances for transport all over the world is going to the moon, there's no way inflation should be lower in the United States, because in this part of the CPI number, some of that should be calculated in, and as a result, the inflation should be higher, not lower. So oil and higher transportation costs should increase the CPI number. There's different components of the CPI, but those two are so big that the CPI should be higher. Again, unless it's a total fucking lie. But based on some charts, right, overall, DXY chart, if we were to look at a longer time frame chart, is bullish. Gold is highly bearish. And so normally if you see DXY going higher, gold dropping, you will also see the market dropping. Now, clearly, there's got to be a level. There's so many bulls that are just waiting for even a small drop in the indexes, for a small drop in some stocks to be able to begin buying. So forget a sharp move lower after the 8:30 report. You want to close your puts, and you want to temporarily buy calls. And then after that, on the bounce, the market will be shortable again, because I don't think the number of participants moving the market after the dip that we're expecting after the CPI report, I don't think the number of participants is going to be great. So they're going to punch it higher after the initial dip, and then we're going to get a bigger sell-off. Notable information that the day on which we had a move expansion where S&P finally dropped beyond 60 points, started out with a gap down similar like this one this morning, where basically we dropped initially to the magnitude of 16 to 20 points, which is very consistent with what's taking place right now this morning on February 13th. And it is an indication that we could overall get an 80-point move lower. So considering we're already down 17 points, an 80-point move would take us another 60 points below that. So 40-60 is in the cards for today, but it may not happen in a linear fashion, right? In other words, don't expect the market just drop straight to 40-60. We could get maybe a touch of 5,000. The market's going to fight the 5,000, get some kind of bounce, and maybe by the end of the day, we could actually get to 40-60. So use the bounces as your friends. As a short seller, you short the bounces. You use the bounces in the market as an opportunity to profit when markets drop, because the probability of a move expansion to the downside, it's here, it's real. If we examine the longer time frame charts, such as the daily charts, everything is in place for a market drop, not necessarily a crash today, but a drop or a beginning of a three-day drop, at the same time as dollar shoots higher and gold drops. So with that, this is your correlation plan as far as how to trade the CPI today, guys. It's rather complex, so when things are flying, you got to make sure you're not trading in the direction of the initial move. So if we get some weird surprise and the market first bounces and then it begins to sell off, you need to be ready to take action as a trader. You want to trade in the opposite of the initial reaction. So if you're not sure how to do that, okay, I've laid out a pretty thorough plan here on how to trade the CPI number, but the initial reaction could be different from what we anticipate here at 13 Market Moves. So to be ready as a trader, you need to roll with the market. When the 830 number comes out, you need to be ready, because things are going to be moving up, down. I mean, you got to be ready to make those decisions lightning fast, because if you miss your entry by 10 seconds, you will be fucked. I mean, this is how brutal days like these are. And so for most of the people that, it takes them a minute to pull up an option chain to get into a trade, forget it. I mean, you guys will get smoked on a day like today. So, you want to trade. And most of you guys, unfortunately, it doesn't matter how many times I say it, you don't set up your account the right way. So in other words, the big move is going to be at 8:30. Okay, but most of you are not even going to be able to trade it, because why? Well, you can't trade options until 9:30 in the morning, until the general session opens for the market. Set up your account to where you can trade these economic reports that are, they're a lot of times are the biggest catalysts to move the overall market sentiment and behavior, and the number of points that the market can move. A lot of that happens pre-market. So don't miss trading your golden opportunities. All the action is going to be taking place at 8:30, majority of it. So if you're coming and trading the market at 9:30, well, fuck, you missed it. And so most of the traders shockingly don't know that you can trade options before market opens. And if you still don't know how to do that after watching our last 1,200 videos here, you guys definitely need to schedule a call. Go to 13mmtv.com today and find out how you can trade options before market opens. So I wish everyone a huge trading day. If you are not sure how to trade today, or if you're not sure if you can put together a 10x trade at least with the information I have just given you, contact a 13 Market Moves coach here at 13mmtv.com. Guys, take action. Everything is in your power. You can do it. I don't give a shit how much money you've lost in the markets before. you come to 13 Market Moves with a good attitude, learn the system, and you stick with these trades and you trade with the coach, anything is possible. You could be one of the top 50 traders with 13 Market Moves this year, and we're taking 50 guys to 1 million plus this year. So be one of those guys, but it starts with a call. So schedule a call at 13mmtv.com, click the big orange button, let's roll. Big trading day. Oh, one last thing, I forgot to review the correlation of Bitcoin and DXY. So the correlation has been strong, especially in the last few months. Basically, a weaker dollar equates to Bitcoin going higher, but it is at such a level. We had a perfect entry on Bitcoin short yesterday. So if it bounces on the initial reaction, okay, you short it. The probability of dollar actually holding this 104 level is really, really strong. You can get some undershoots, like a dollar maybe drop into 103.80, 103.90. It's right at 103.99 now. But the highest probability outcome is for dollar to shoot up back to this level, 104.3. And if that takes place, then you will see Bitcoin drop. So basically, if it shoots to this level, 50,600, 50,700, you short, if that's the initial reaction. But if dollar initial reaction is to the moon, then just expect, this thing to drop the fuck out. So very good trade in the making, possibly here on BTC. We traded on Phemex, guys. So just there's a link somewhere below the video where you can go sign up for an account at Phemex for our referral link and be ready to rock and trade, because there's a lot of money that's going to be made on Bitcoin here, and it's not necessarily in the direction that everyone is ready and celebrating it to go. There's going to be plenty more pullbacks before Bitcoin hits, 69,000 again or 100,000. So it's going there, but it doesn't necessarily have to go there in one straight line. So expect some good trades on Bitcoin on the short side, guys. So with that said, set up your account to trade Bitcoin. If all you're doing is trading stocks, you're missing a huge part of the market. So as a trader, you owe it to yourself to trade the best market opportunities. Do it with 13 Market Moves. Sign up at 13mmtv.com.